Welcome to another quiet journey through the pages of time. Tonight, we step softly into a world of shadows, secrets, and stories long forgotten. Dim your screen, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and let history whisper you to sleep. Before we begin, I'm always curious. Where in the world are you listening from? And what time is it for you right now? I love reading through the comments, seeing all of us here together across time zones, quietly exploring the past. You awaken before the sun. The fire in the hearth has long gone cold, and the faint light of a dying moon slips through the cracks in the thatched roof above you. Your bed, if one can call it that, is a pile of straw that smells faintly of goat. There's a splinter in your side, your cloak is damp, and your stomach is already complaining. But none of that matters, of course. You are an assassin. Or rather, you are supposed to be. You're young, inexperienced, and somewhere deep down, still ever so slightly unsure of how you ended up here, training under a man with only 3 fingers and an eye that doesn't quite face the same direction as the other. The village sleeps around you. The air smells like wet wood smoke and something else. Pigs, probably. Always pigs. The candle on the windowsill has burned out. You rise quietly, stepping into your worn leather boots, still slick with last night's rain, and you reach for your dagger. It's not exactly sharp. In fact, it bends ever so slightly to the left if you push too hard. But it's what you have. You are ready. Or, at least, as ready as you're going to be. Your master gave you the details last night, over a bowl of thin broth and a hard bread. He chewed with his mouth open, which was distracting. But the mission seemed simple enough. Slip into the manor house just before midnight, locate the nobleman, and remove him from the realm of the living. Quietly. He even drew you a little map. Except the map is not exactly to scale. In fact, it appears to be drawn on the back of a used cheese wrapper. North is rather unhelpfully, whichever way the wind smells like garlic. The nobleman is someone important. You don't remember exactly why. You think he raised taxes or insulted the wrong baron, or perhaps he simply owes your employer too many chickens. As is the way of things in the year 1207. Still, you accepted the task, because that's what you do. That's what you've trained for, and because, well, you didn't really have other plans. The road to the manor is muddy, of course. The kind of mud that suctions your boots with each step. The kind of mud that doesn't let go without a small battle. The wind picks up as you cross the fields, whistling between broken fence posts and rustling the bare branches of late autumn trees. Your cloak flaps a bit too loudly. You stop, breathe, steady yourself. You are an assassin. You are the shadow on the wall, the silent breath behind the curtain, the gentle rustle that makes the candle flicker. You are also hungry. But that's beside the point. The manor comes into view around the bend, tall, stone, and faintly imposing, though not as grand as you imagine. There are torches along the walls, guards posted near the front. That much your master got right. What he didn't mention were the dogs. 2 of them, big, shaggy beasts with yellow eyes and the temperament of angry turnips. You crouch low behind a cart. The air is damp. You can feel it gathering on your eyelashes. One of the dogs lifts its head and sniffs the air. You do not move. You wait and wait some more. And then, quite helpfully, your foot cramps. because of course it does. Eventually, with the grace of someone who is deeply underqualified for this job, you circle the outer wall. You find a gap near the kitchen garden, a patch of crumbling stone just low enough for you to clamber over, provided your belt doesn't catch. It does. And your dagger doesn't fall out. It does that too. You land in something unpleasantly squishy, a compost pile, warm, fragrant. You brush yourself off, but the smell follows you like a loyal companion. The courtyard is dark, at least. The guards are stationed near the main hall, and you, lucky creature that you are, know the kitchen door is likely to be unlocked. Kitchen servants rarely remember to bolt anything, especially after a few stolen sips of mead. And so, with mud on your boots, compost on your cloak, and a dagger that still leans slightly to the left, you slip through the wooden door. Inside, the manor is quiet. The kitchen smells like stale onions and boiled cabbage. A pot still bubbles softly on the hearth, and there's a crust of bread left on the table. You take it, of course. You are a professional, but you are not a fool. You chew quietly as you move through the hall. Your boots squeak slightly on the stone, and so you remove them, which helps until you step in something wet, cold, mysterious. You don't ask questions. Barefoot, cloaked, mildly damp, and armed with nothing but a crooked dagger and a prayer to whatever forgotten saint looks after assassins. You ascend the narrow staircase, and that's when things begin to unravel. There is a guard. Of course there is. He's dozing in a wooden chair near the top of the steps, his head tipped back and his mouth open in a way that suggests he has dreams about turnip stew. You hold your breath. You take a step. The step creaks. He snorts, shifts, scratches something. You freeze. Another step, another creak. Your breath is shallow now, your hands damp. And then a sneeze. Not yours, his. He wakes, bleary-eyed, confused, blinking, and you, blessed with the instincts of a startled squirrel, duck into the nearest room and hide behind a tapestry that smells like mildew and disappointment. There, in the dark, you wait. You listen to the guard shuffle past, muttering about rats and cold floors. You do not move. You breathe. And while you wait, heart hammering in your chest, you reflect, as one does, on your chosen profession. You think about what it really means to be an assassin in the Middle Ages. It is not, you realize, as glamorous as the songs would have you believe. There are no sleek black hoods, no smoke bombs, no rooftop escapes. There are, instead, rusted blades, questionable footwear, and a surprising amount of waiting in the cold. Real assassins in medieval times were not mystical warriors. They were often low-ranking mercenaries, bribed soldiers, or desperate men with debts to pay. Their tools were simple: daggers, poison, if they could afford it, or even their bare hands. Failure was not forgiven. Caught in the act, an assassin might be hanged, or worse, drawn and quartered, a fate so unpleasant, it's best not to describe before bed. And success? Well, success meant living another day. Maybe, if you were lucky, which, as current events suggest, you are not. Eventually, the hallway falls silent again. You emerge from behind the tapestry, stiff and itchy, and continue down the corridor. You count doors. 1, 2, 3. The fourth is slightly ajar. You push it open. Inside, a nobleman sleeps beneath a heavy blanket. His chamber smells of wax and velvet. A candle flickers on the windowsill. The wind sighs gently through the shutters. This, at last, is your moment. You step forward. Your foot finds a squeaky floorboard. The man stirs. You panic, your hand gripping the dagger, your breath catching in your throat. And then you sneeze, quietly, but not quietly enough. The nobleman bolts upright, squinting at you in confusion. You raise the dagger. He raises a candlestick. The two of you freeze. It's not exactly a dramatic standoff. More awkward. And then, for reasons unknown to even yourself, you drop the dagger. It bounces, once, twice, and lands point down into your own foot. A soft curse escapes your lips. The nobleman blinks and says, rather sleepily, "Are you the new stable boy?" You nod, because what else can you do? 5 minutes later, you're sweeping straw in the stable. Turns out, the actual stable boy left last week. No one questions your sudden appearance. The dogs don't seem to recognize you anymore. And the nobleman, now convinced he dreamt the whole thing, returns to bed, muttering something about cabbage stew. And so, you survive, not through skill, not through courage, but through sheer, ridiculous luck. You sleep that night, curled in a pile of hay. The cows breathe slowly beside you. The barn is warm. Your foot throbs gently. Outside, the wind rustles the trees, and the stars blink softly above the manor. You do not complete your mission. You do not change the course of history. You do not vanish into the night with your cloak billowing like a legend. You take a nap, and perhaps that is enough. And this, dear listener, is why you would not survive a day as a medieval assassin. Because the boots leak, the dogs bark, the guards sneeze, the nobleman has good reflexes, and your dagger bends slightly to the left. But don't worry. Tomorrow, perhaps, you'll wake up as something else. A traveling bard, a cart driver, a humble bread maker with dreams of quiet days and warm hearths. Anything but this. So close your eyes now. Let the candle burn low. Let the wind carry away your worries. Because your mission, though it failed, brought you here, safe and warm beneath the hay, where no one expects anything of you at all. And that, in this world of shadows and stone, might just be the greatest victory of all. Good night.